YouTube, what's up? It's here. My 2018 updated NFL mock draft. It's here, and I'm ready. This was pretty interesting to make. I didn't think the draft class was going to be as good as last year, but as I was making this, I realized it was pretty dang good. There's guys still on the board that I couldn't believe I saw on the board. So it's going to be another solid draft class. Still a long way till the draft, but we have some sort of an idea as of now. Let's get into the first 8 picks. Starting with the good old Browns. So once again, having a top pick, and once again going with a quarterback. I'm taking Josh Rosen, quarterback from UCLA. Now, most experts don't really have Josh Rosen going 1. He's my #1 quarterback as of now. Doesn't really have many weapons or a good offensive line at UCLA, and he still continues to impress. I think he'll be a better pro than college player, and I think once we get there, he might end up being the first quarterback off the board. The second pick, I have the Niners taking Saquon Barkley, the running back from Penn State. Another one that might be a little surprising because they have Carlos Hyde, who is a good running back, but you can't let a guy like this just sit around. You got to get better. You will get better by taking Barkley. We know John Lynch is a guy that wants to take best player available, and if Barkley's not the best player available when they're drafting, then I would be shocked. Maybe they trade back when we get there. Maybe they don't even have the second overall pick. But Barkley with Garoppolo would be nice. Could use some receivers for Garoppolo as well. On to the Giants. I have the Giants taking Sam Darnold, quarterback for the Giants. Now, I don't think Darnold right now is worthy of this pick, this early of a pick. The Giants taking quarterback would be a little surprising, but Eli's definitely on his way out. So I think when it comes down to it, if Darnold goes to the draft, I think he goes top 3. So that's why I have him here. I have other quarterbacks personally, and my personal rankings ranked ahead of him. But for now, Giants take Sam Darnold. Colts, 4th pick. I'm taking Courtland Sutton, wide receiver, SMU. Love this receiver class. I love Courtland Sutton. Downfield guy. Has a little, I'll say it, he has a little bit of Calvin Johnson in him. Needs to go to the right team. I think Andrew Luck, if Andrew Luck plays, which we expect him to play next year, with a guy like Courtland Sutton would be just something special. Rumors were they were trying to look for another receiver. They were thinking about trading T.Y. Hilton, so maybe they want a different type of receiver. We know they need another one, so Courtland Sutton would work out, in my opinion. The Buccaneers have the 5th pick. A little surprising they're there, but I have them taking Bradley Chubb, defensive end, NC State. Great at stopping the run, great at rushing the passer. Bucks, they could use some DBs. They need corners pretty bad. Is there a true corner worthy of this pick? I don't know. Bradley Chubb's worthy of this pick. Upgrade that pass rush, which is very important in today's NFL. On to the next pick. I have the Jets taking James Washington, wide receiver from Oklahoma State. One of my favorite players in this draft, maybe my favorite player. A receiver that can do it all, built like a running back. He can run any route. He's just the total package. The Jets, McCown with his intangibles he's playing ball right now. I don't know if he's definitely not the guy of the future, but can they hang on to him for another year? Obviously, they need a quarterback, but receiver is a huge need, and James Washington is definitely worthy of this pick. I would love that pick there. 7th pick is the Raiders. Another surprising team pick in here. Still got a lot of football to play, but they had probably one of the best offensive lines in football last year. This year, it's like the total opposite. Connor Williams, offensive lineman, Texas, is who I have them taking. Best lineman in this draft, best tackle in this draft, I should say. And Donald Penn getting older. They need some help on the offensive line. They need some help on defense too, and possibly a running back of the future, but this would be a good pick here. Now on to the 8th pick. I got the Chargers taking Derwin James, safety, Florida State. A guy that stock is kind of fallen, but he's an excellent football player, excellent safety. They could use his talents at free safety. He's definitely worthy of this pick, even if he's maybe having an off year. He's still a great football player, but he's going to be an excellent pro. So we're going on to the next 8 teams. The 9th pick is the Chicago Bears. Obvious need at wide receiver. I already have 2 gone, so I have them taking Calvin Ridley, wide receiver, Alabama. The Bears need a guy that can get open. Good route runner that can get open, that can catch the ball. That's Calvin Ridley. Another guy that I think will be a better pro than he was in college because of that Alabama offense. Not too much production this year, but that's because of that offense. It makes sense. He'll be a good pro. Bears obviously need a wide receiver that can get open for Trubisky. It would help him out a ton. On to the Cardinals. I got the Cardinals taking Mason Rudolph, quarterback, Oklahoma State. A very weird prospect at the moment. He obviously can play, but he's weird because some scouts will have him around early first round around this pick, and there's some scouts that say he's a day 3 guy. So it's gonna be very interesting. I think he can play, but the main thing here is I think he can fit right in right away to that Cardinals offensive style. I think he's a similar player to Carson Palmer, so I think Rudolph can just get in there and play right away. Maybe they got Palmer for another year, but he's thinking about retirement last year, and now he gets hurt. I think it's time for them to get a guy like Mason Rudolph. Maybe a little bit of a reach, but I like Rudolph a lot. Now the Bengals get a steal. This is where I realize how good this draft class is because Minkah Fitzpatrick is still just sitting around here. He can play safety at an elite level. He can play corner at an elite level. Bengals safeties really aren't the same. Their defense is on the decline. It used to be very good. I think getting a guy like Fitzpatrick in there that can play safety day 1 for him would be excellent. Too good to pass at this point. Next pick is the Denver Broncos. Another too good to pass player, Quentin Nelson, guard from Notre Dame. I mean, he's worthy of a better pick than this, but how early is too early to take a guard? That's the question, but the Broncos would love to have Quentin Nelson. One of the best guards I've ever seen. This guy is an excellent run blocker. I know the Broncos probably need a quarterback, could use another running back, so I think they can't be afraid to enter rebuild mode. They won a Super Bowl recently, so they can't be afraid to do it. They should not be afraid to do it. So start with building that O-line, get some quarterbacks and running backs. Free agency and draft is the way to do it. Next pick, the Browns' second pick of this draft. I am taking Ronnie Harrison, safety from Alabama. Probably thinking another safety. We took Jabril in the first round last year. Well, Jabril could be your strong safety. Ronnie Harrison could be your free safety. That's an excellent duo. Ronnie Harrison, Alabama safety, is an excellent player and will be for a long time. So the Browns have a very good run defense. It's actually at the top of the league. So just find your quarterback. I mean, if Kaiser got some weapons, he possibly could be it. But if you can build that pass defense, then you're making progress. The Lions are picking next. Another guy kind of too good to pass on, Harold Landry. What I like about Harold Landry, the edge defender from Boston College, is I think he's one of those rare guys that can play 4-3 or 3-4. I think he can. If he was drafted by a 4-3 team, he'd play DN just as well as he would play outside linebacker for a 3-4 team. There's players that have done that before, but I think this guy can do it at a high level. So I think any team that needs an edge rusher can take Harold Landry. He's an excellent player, led the nation in sacks last year. Surprised that he came back, but still a great player. Redskins pick next. Redskins could be a very interesting team. I have them taking Deion Kane, wide receiver from Clemson. Very fast wide receiver, downfield. You can throw him screen passes. He's going to run in the 4-3, so this is going to be a first-round wide receiver, an excellent weapon. But why I say the Redskins are a weird team is because Kirk Cousins going to be gone. There was rumors he wanted to leave. Their offensive line's beat up. Could use a every down running back. Their defense has actually been pretty decent. Could be better. So they can go a bunch of different ways. The reason I am taking Deion Kane, the wide receiver, is because they were looking to trade for a wide receiver at the deadline there. Pryor's not really working out. I mean, Jamison Crowder is pretty impressive, but that can't be your top wide receiver. Thompson's their top wide receiver, and he's a running back. So I think Doxson's good, but they don't believe in Doxson. I think Deion Kane having the speed, and I guess he has more abilities than Doxson for the NFL. So I think that would be a solid pick. The Ravens, I have the Ravens taking Darius Geis, running back from LSU. Obvious need for the Ravens. Danny Woodhead is coming back from injury, but every down back, and a guy that's definitely worthy of this pick is Darius Geis, Fournette's backup. We know this guy can play, so I think that's definitely a realistic pick there. Now we're moving on to the next 8. Starting with the Cowboys. Cowboys need more defensive help. I think they need a corner pretty badly, and Tavares McFadden, Florida State corner, is right here. This would be an obvious pick if he was on the board. Led the nation in interceptions last year. Very good player. Kind of feared this year, and I like that. Some people are kind of forgetting about him because he's not getting as many interceptions, but he's an excellent corner. The Cowboys should love to have him. They need a corner upgrade. Titans pick next. Arden Key, edge rusher from LSU. Now this guy, I mean, his production's not there. This is one of those guys that has potential to be a top pick. Could end up being the best player in his draft, but needs to pick it up production-wise. Last few games been doing good. But Titans, on paper, you look at it, Brian Arakpo and Morgan. Those are really good outside linebackers in that 3-4 scheme, but they're second to last in the league in sacks. So they need to upgrade. Maybe Arakpo's on the way out. Could use a corner too, but Adoree Jackson developing well. It's a good thing the Titans got him. I like him under Dick LeBeau. That's really working out. So they do need corners pretty bad, but they got young guys that can improve. You need to get sacks. You need to get sacks, and the Titans just aren't doing that. Arden Key could help you out there. So would love that pick. Again, I think if his production picks up like I expect it to, he can end up rising up draft boards. Ton of potential there. Falcons, I have the Falcons taking a cornerback, Denzel Ward from Ohio State. Nobody really knew who this guy was because Ohio State had 2 first-round corners last year, and they just keep producing more and more corners. This guy is on the rise. He's an excellent corner. He will go first round. Falcons have decent corners, but they can definitely upgrade. You always can use more corners, and he'd be one of the best players on the board at this time. The Packers, I have the Packers taking Clelin Ferrell, the defensive end from Clemson, and there's actually 2 L's in his last name. Sorry about that. Hey, Danny, you fucked up the graphics. There's 2 L's in his name. Sorry about that. It's Clelin Ferrell with 2 L's at the end of his name. Packers, they need a whole lot of defense. I think they'll be okay at quarterback. I think Rodgers will be back. So Ferrell could upgrade that pass rush. This guy's got a ton of potential. Can end up doing much better, going higher in the draft. On to the Dolphins. Dolphins just traded Jay Ajayi, so I have them taking Josh Adams, running back from Notre Dame. Love Josh Adams. There is a concern. He kind of came out of games with injuries, but I think that was Notre Dame playing it safe. They knew they won those games. So I think Josh Adams is worthy of a first-round pick. Reminds me of young DeMarco Murray. So I think the Dolphins would love to have him. Obviously, they need a running back now. They traded Ajayi. Jaguars, and this is it right here. This is where I made it happen. Jaguars take Lamar Jackson, quarterback from Louisville. I love Lamar Jackson. Question is NFL teams going to love him? Maybe not that pro-style quarterback, but the guy's got a ton of talent. The Jaguars are a quarterback away from being a contender. I think Lamar Jackson, the Jags, would be just amazing. And I think whoever gets this guy needs to build around him. They need to change the game. I think it'll work with Lamar Jackson. I have him as my number 2 quarterback right now. I have Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson, but gotta love that player. It'd be interesting if he went to the Jags. On to the Panthers. Christian Kirk, wide receiver, Texas A&M. Another wide receiver, stacked wide receiver class. Christian Kirk does need to work on his route running a little bit. He's just one of those guys that gets open, though. Doesn't have the best footwork on routes, but gets open. Very good after the catch. Poor man's Odell Beckham, I'll say. Poor man's Odell Beckham. So, good player, got potential, needs to work on his route running. Panthers obviously need weapons, trading Kelvin Benjamin. They need to get some weapons in there for Cam. And Seahawks. Seahawks always need offensive lineman. Orlando Brown is worthy of the pick here, and they would love to have another solid offensive lineman. It just seems like every year we're expecting the Seahawks to go for more and more offensive line players. On to the last 8 of this mock draft to the Rams. Rams, I'm taking Holton Hill, corner from Texas. Big, long corner. I think scouts fell in love with those big corners from last year. This guy, if they fell in love with those guys, they're going to fall in love with this guy. 6'3", physical corner, making plays this year. Nobody really knew who he was until this point. And I think the Rams, they have Tremaine Johnson. Defense is playing good. I think they need another corner, though. I think they desperately need another corner. But if they get a guy with this talent, I think they would be a huge upgrade. 2 good corners out there that could start. It'd be excellent for the Rams. The Bills, I have the Bills taking Christian Wilkins, D lineman from Clemson. A couple weeks ago, this is probably a top 10 pick. He can end up being a top 10 pick. Maybe production isn't all there this year, but that Clemson, they got so many like first, second round guys in that D line where maybe they're all just splitting the production, the stat line. So that could be why I think Wilkins, this would be a steal at this point. And the Bills, 2 picks in the end of this first round. I think they can really just stack that defense in the first round and then build the offense in the rest of the draft. Defense is already good. They can use some more guys there. Some guys getting old on the D-line and linebacker unit, so they definitely can use an upgrade there, really stack that D and keep balling. Saints, I was Saints taking Roquan Smith, a linebacker from Georgia, another guy that's on the rise, could go higher in this. Georgia's defense, maybe one of the best in college football in recent memory, and led by Roquan Smith, a linebacker, just a beast guy, can lead your team. And Saints trading Stephon Anthony, they could use another replacement, and this guy is definitely worthy. The Vikings, I have the Vikings taking Malik Jefferson, linebacker from Texas. They lost Chad Greenway to retirement this last year. They drafted Ben Gideon, who's actually been pretty impressive, but Mike Zimmer wants the best of the best on that defense. Now, if you can get a Malik Jefferson, he would fit. I think he would fit perfectly in that replacement of Chad Greenway, and he's an upgrade from Gideon, even though he's been impressive. So, yeah, I have Malik Jefferson going there to fill that role. Steelers, this is a little surprising. Steelers, I have them taking Baker Mayfield, quarterback from Oklahoma. I don't know if I think Baker Mayfield's worthy of a first-round pick. He's definitely on the rise. He definitely makes plays. Kind of like a Russell Wilson type. Not as good. He's not going to be as good as Russell Wilson, but I think with Big Ben on his way out, there's really not too many big needs for the Steelers. Pretty solid team all around. I think Baker Mayfield with Le'Veon Bell and with those receivers, I think he just fits right in. I think he'd be good. Like, they like Josh Dobbs. They really like Josh Dobbs. Now, Baker Mayfield can play similar to him, but obviously better. So I can see the Steelers taking a chance on him. Maybe he doesn't go first round. I think he can fit in now. And it could be a risk that's worth it because they don't really have too many huge needs. Patriots are next. I have them taking Isaiah Oliver, corner from Colorado, another school that keeps producing more and more corners. We've seen a couple go last year. Isaiah Oliver from Colorado is a big, long corner. Very good at man coverage. We know the Patriots love to run man coverage, so they got to be looking at this guy already. So that would be a solid pick. The Bills' second pick, I had them taking Christian Wilkins before. Now I have them taking Rashaan Evans, linebacker from Alabama. They could use another linebacker. This guy can come in, play right away. Like I said before, with these two picks, you really can stack that defense, make it – it's already really good. They can make it elite. And then the rest of the draft, just go offensive weapons. Tyrod Taylor just finds a way to get it. He gets it done with whatever players you give him. Just find him some weapons. You can find weapons in the second, third round that can play right away. So this is the route I would go. Obviously, I look at best players available, and these two guys they got are definitely in the conversation for best available at this point. The last pick, as of now, is the Eagles. I have the Eagles taking Anthony Miller, another wide receiver gone here, from Memphis. And he might be the best route runner I've seen in a while. So this guy is climbing up draft boards. Nobody knew who he was. The main thing why receivers are bust when they go to the NFL is route running. They cannot figure out the route running at the next level, how to get open. Getting open in college is much different than the technique used against top corners in NFL. Anthony Miller is the best route runner in his draft class. Even though he's from Memphis, he's going to be climbing up boards. Eagles would love to have another wide receiver. Alshon Jeffrey is a free agent. I think just Miller getting open in the middle of the field will just help out Carson Wentz even more, take that next step. So there's all 32 picks of my 2018 NFL mock draft. Hope you enjoyed. Please like the video if you did and you want more. And don't you forget to click that fucking subscribe button. Goodbye, YouTube.